So what else can tech companies and social media platforms do to safeguard children from online sex abuse? How are you looking at this?
Hi, thank you for having me. I think to respond to your question, there's a lot the tech company can actually do to tackle the online child sexual exploitation. I think from experience running the internet hotline for the public to report child sexual abuse images, I think the limitation of the public awareness and the ability to report something like that is still very low. So we cannot rely on just the public awareness and action to report this thing. We need also the electronic communication services or the online services provider to do a lot more. So, for example, they can actually set up their system to be able to detect known child sexual images on their platform so they can prevent the dissemination of the images on the internet in the first place. Tech companies should also work in collaboration with law enforcement to try to report known cases or reported cases to law enforcement for investigation.
And aside from this, some governments have now promised to draw up legislation to reduce online harms to children. What kind of punishment mechanisms do you think should be in place to protect children?
Legislation has to be sufficient and robust to actually tackle this problem. So I think in the case of Cambodia, we are still having some sort of loopholes in the legislation to fight against the online sexual exploitation of children. I think the punishment should be severe when it comes to prosecuting these crimes because this is the worst of the worst crimes against children online. So the legislation should be developed in a sense to also require the companies like the internet service provider to legally report child sexual abuse material as well. So those who actually commit sort of serious crimes such as the sextortion, the live streaming of child sexual abuse exploitation should actually receive very severe punishment, and that's what the law should be.